Hello one, hello all. Yeah?
Are you going to be using this room long?
Yeah, I'm just doing a countdown video.
Oh yeah, what are you filming?
Did you know a young boy drowned the year before those two others were killed? His name was Jason, and today is his birthday. Yeah, just by title alone, some of these films just don't do it for me. Well, anyway, when I'm not sticking my nose up at all films in the slasher genre, I go to the franchise that I trust most, and that is Friday the 13th. So let's rank them, shall we? Hello one, hello all. Happy Friday the 13th. Happy birthday, Jason. Although I think it's June. It would be June 13th if it were actually his birthday. But I've done this before, and the video was right at my transition, right before this channel got really weird and shitty. So I figured I'd update it. Hopefully Cody Leach has got his ranking video up. Go check that out. Otherwise, check his channel. He's got the entire Friday the 13th catalog. He just recently reviewed him, so by all means, go give him some love and then tell his people to give me love. Anyway, we're going to do the ranking all over again, even though I've done this before, although maybe things have changed in the last 2 years since I've ranked the Friday the 13th movies. I genuinely did not look at that video. When this is up, that'll be down, so shame on you for not watching the original. Anyway, we got 12 movies to cover. Let's start at the bottom. Number 12, Jason X. Yeah, Jason in space. See, I'll come right out and say it. There's at least a quarter of these Friday the 13th movies, if not a third, if not maybe 40%. A lot of these movies are hard to argue for. As a Friday the 13th fan, Jason X, with the exception of the frozen face kill, which is just a kill. I mean, that's an Instagram video at best. No reason to wrap an 80-minute movie around it. But there's also the flashback scene where he kills the girls from the 80s who are being projected, or a hologram or whatever. That's not enough. I mean, that's neat. You're recognizing that you have a thing there in the 80s. Why not just set the movie in the 80s rather than go 300 years in the future and put it in space? Cool idea. It didn't work. Number 11, one of the movies that doesn't really feature Jason that much and kind of retcons the history. Jason Goes to Hell, which Adam Marcus, who is a member of Killer Flicks and has been a bit of a sport about how much people do or do not like his movie. I get that there was something being tried there. It didn't do it for me. The whole Jason's soul being in his heart and commanding people to eat it, whatever. The cool thing about Jason Goes to Hell is you have the first actor to both be killed and kill in the same movie. Kane Hodder, of course, gets killed as Kane Hodder with his face. He's one of the FBI dudes outside the morgue. And of course, Kane Hodder is Jason. There's a fun little fact for you there. But yeah, other than that, it gets a little too retconny with the sister and the dagger and the Evil Dead send up. It's just so bloated. And of course, you have the 10 seconds at the end that is just, porn. And I think weighs the movie up for a lot of people. The Freddy hand coming up to pull Jason's mask down. Neat shot. Again, that's an Instagram video. You gotta fill another 85 minutes. I'll give it an A for effort, but there's 8 movies before that why are we taking such a turn? No, I'm sure people like broccoli. I'm just not one of them. That's a really bad analogy, isn't it? Number 10, and this is certainly interchangeable. Number 10 and 11 certainly can switch, because 10, if only because we have Jason for most of the movie in his typical getup and some of New York City, will I rank Jason Takes Manhattan. But then the ending is just, man, guys, after 6, it gets really fucking strange. I find it really hard to defend 8, 9, 10, really hard. Even 7 to a degree, but Jason takes the boat. Neat kill with the punching. Like Friday the 13th after part 7, I would say, just becomes like a really neat. Like if you could do a greatest hits of kills and put them together from 8, 9, and 10, like that's all you really have from those movies. With all due respect to fans of those movies, to me that's the best part of those movies, is just some of the kills, which I like some story wrapped around it. Just some. Oh, Paramount. But yeah, number 10. Yeah, number 10 is part 8. Although, if you catch me on a bad day, I'll say number 10 is part 9. And number 11 is part 8. But for today, for April 13th, 2018, Jason Takes Manhattan, number 10. Number 9, Friday the 13th, part 5, A New Beginning. Young me really hates me right now, because adolescent me liked this movie for way more reasons than just the story. Just a bit of a misfire as far as the telling of the story. It felt like they were trying to redo Friday the 13th with this whole Roy angle. If they just gave us a little bit more exposition with why he was doing things, it would have come off better. Other than that, there's anybody who follows my Savage Cinema series, there's plenty of tits and hits in this movie to hold you over. The movie might suck, but I don't think there's a female in this movie that isn't topless. I don't think there's a good 10-minute stretch without some sort of gnarly kill. So there's that. I like a little bit of story. This wasn't as strong as I'd like it to be. That's just me. Number 8. Friday the 13th, part 7, The New Blood, Jason versus Carrie. I might have this weighed up a little bit. See, I think this is another one where I can kind of swap A New Beginning, because I think I have this weighed due to the segue from part 6. Continuity gets a little crazy towards the end of Friday the 13th too. At least they opened 7 with the ending of 6. But the whole Carrie angle, she's too strong. Mary Sue-ish, I guess is what I would say. But it was okay. The characters are really thin. Not much to enjoy, but an all right time. We're getting closer to the middle is what I would say. Something that I would seek out and watch. Number 7, Friday the 13th, 2009. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The opening 20 minutes weigh this movie way high for me. If it were only the 20 minutes in the beginning, everything, Baghead Jason right before the title, this could be way higher. Unfortunately, there's more movie after that scene that just... I liked it. I liked Derek Mears being all menacing and scary. I didn't like any of the characters. I think Aaron Yu was pretty good. But, perfect nipple placement. Like, I don't know. Something about me as a grown-up really wants more than tits, and there's something sad about that. But there are other movies on this list where it's not just tits. It's hey, there's actually a decent enough story. And 2009 just wasn't really it. Number 6, Freddy versus Jason. This is a nice little standalone, this nice little, side piece movie. I really dug the whole Freddy going back to Crystal Lake with Jason as a kid. That whole even if it's a dream sequence, it was really neat to see. It's hard to put this in the same universe, but it was a good time. It was what it was. It was an action movie with horror elements, or a horror movie with action elements. Perfectly fine time to just stand by itself. It was just fun. It was just fun. Number 5, Friday the 13th Part 3, or Friday the 13th 3D. Yeah, the acting's a little odd, very gimmicky if you're watching it in 2D, but the greatest Jason, many people will say. And of course, the dawning of the mask, so there's that. There's a lot of people that I speak to that have this like in their top 3. I don't put it that high. I've gotten so snobby with the acting in my slasher series, but it's a little thin in the acting department. Some gimmicks are a little over the top, but alas. Number 4, Friday the 13th Part 2. Perhaps the strongest final girl in Ginny. Really unique scene there at the end with the sweater, and really done well considering that they really didn't have a sequel to work with, and they did that all within a year. There's not much else to say about Part 2. Ginny was perhaps the best final girl, and Baghead Jason was unique. It still had some of the taste of Part 1, but they had no time to work on this, and it was still a way better put together movie than stuff later on in the series that seemed like took months, years. I'm looking at you, 9 and 10. Number 3, Friday the 13th, the original. What else can be said? Betsy Palmer, just incredible. A whodunit movie. It wasn't really a horror movie. It was a bit of a thriller with a whodunit thing going on. You don't see the killer until the 3rd act. Just a really, really good time. Is it dated? Yes. Is it lit poorly? Yes. It's still good though. I'm sorry. Without this, there's none of it. And Friday the 13th is really good. It really is. It's strong. It's way stronger than the last half of the series. That's an easy thing to say. Number 2, Part 4, the final chapter. Joseph Zito did a hell of a job making a dark but still a film that you can see. Friday the 13th 1 was dark, but there was things you couldn't see what was going on. It was almost like they forgot to bring lights for some of this stuff. Friday the 13th Part 4 is dark, but it seems to be done for mood. And if there weren't another movie, I would say that this is easily the standout movie of the entire franchise, which some people will probably argue that that's the case. I can get behind that argument for, or what I'm about to say is pretty good company, but seeing Jason die for the third time, I guess, whatever. But to really, the kill at the end, Tom Savini returns for just a really, really incredible kill. Great slasher, great sequel, but not quite as great to me as another. Number 1, if you have any knowledge of me, you know this answer. It's Part 6. It's Jason Lives. It's the homage to Frankenstein. It's the precursor to Scream. It's the best shot Friday the 13th movie. It's the most well lit Friday the 13th movie. It's the most aware of itself. The acting is great. Tom Matthews, great. Jennifer Cooks, great. You have a pre-ghost Tony Goldwyn, good stuff. Gets stabbed in the gut. Director's wife nearly gets decapitated. What else could you ask for in this movie? Oh yeah, and there's no nudity. So while that might be a minus for most of you, it makes me focus on the movie that much more. Thank you, Darcy DeMoss. Thank you for not showing your goods. I really didn't foresee ever having to say that, but yeah. Part 6, the best Friday the 13th movie in the entire franchise. Whether or not you agree with me, that's your opinion. Neither of us is right. But by all means, comment down below. Let me know what your countdown, count up, whatever your top 5, top 3. Let me know down below what it is. How much do you agree? How much do you disagree? Why? If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. My Patreon info should have flown somewhere by. And otherwise, we'll see you in July. Again, for another Friday the 13th. I wonder what I could be doing around that time. Well, anyway, I've been CP. Have a Friday the 13th.